Hey everyone, and welcome. If you've ever looked at Mandarin and thought, wow, those sounds are an impossible mountain to climb, then you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're going to demystify Chinese pronunciation by unlocking a fantastic system called Pinyin.
So, let's start with the big one. Why on earth does Chinese pronunciation seem so incredibly difficult? It's a question that pretty much every learner asks. And honestly, it's a super common struggle, but it almost always comes down to one single missing piece of the puzzle.
And that missing piece, that solution, is a system called Pinyin. And that's why this idea of a key is just so perfect, because Pinyin literally is the key that unlocks all the sounds of Chinese. It's the system that takes all those unfamiliar noises and turns them into something you can actually see, understand, and eventually master. That brings us right into our first section, the pronunciation puzzle. We're going to see why getting this foundation right from the very beginning makes all the difference in the world. And this, right here, is the absolute heart of the problem. So many learners struggle for years because they just don't have a solid Pinyin foundation. Some people even try to skip it altogether. But, that's like trying to build a house without putting in the groundwork first. It's never going to be stable.
So let's get our hands dirty and look at those building blocks. We're going to completely deconstruct Pinyin, and you're about to see that this system that seems so complex is actually built from a few really simple, logical parts.
Okay, so what is Pinyin? Exactly. Well, it's basically a system that uses the letters you already know and use every single day, the Roman alphabet, to spell out Mandarin sounds. And here's the best part, the part that makes it all click. Every single sound in the entire language is made up of just 3 components. That's it, 3. And here are those 3 magic ingredients. Every syllable you'll ever say in Mandarin has an initial, which is just the consonant at the start. It has a final, which is the vowel sound that comes next, and it has a tone, which is the pitch. Initial plus final plus tone. That's the whole formula.
Let's start with part 1, the initials. These are your starting consonant sounds. And here's the great news. Get this. There are only 21 of them in the entire language. 21. That's a totally manageable number, right?
So here are a few examples like ba, pa, ma, and fa. Now they might look super familiar, but here's the key. The real trick is learning how to shape your mouth to make the specific Mandarin version of that sound, which can be just a little bit different from what you're used to. All right, on to part 2, the finals. These are the vowel sounds that follow the initial, and in total, there are 36 standard finals in Mandarin.
Now these can be really simple vowels like a or o, or they can be combinations like I or ang. These finals are what really create the core sound of the syllable.
Okay, so we've got our consonants, we've got our vowels. Now it's time for the part everyone talks about. And yeah, it's arguably the most important part of getting Chinese pronunciation right. Let's talk about the music of Mandarin, the 4 tones.
The first tone is high, and it's totally flat. It doesn't go up, it doesn't go down. The perfect way to imagine it is a cat's meow. You know that high, steady meow sound? That is the first tone. The second tone starts around the middle and then rises up. The easiest way to feel this one is to just ask a question in English, like, huh? You feel that? That upward slide in your voice? That's the exact movement of the second tone. Now the third tone is the trickiest one, but it's pretty cool. It dips down and then rises back up again. To get a feel for it, just say the first word of the phrase, "Are you okay?" You hear how that R dips and then rises? That's the shape of the third tone. And finally, we have the fourth tone. This one is sharp. It falls really quickly from a high pitch to a low one. Just think of a short, firm command like stop or no. That sharp downward energy. That's the fourth tone. Okay, so we have our 3 ingredients, initials, finals, and tones. Now comes the really fun part. Let's actually put them all together and start building some real Mandarin syllables. And you can see just how simple this is. You just take an initial, like B, and a final, like ah, and boom, you get ba. You take M and ah, you get ma. You take g and o, you get go. It's really just like simple addition, and this one formula covers the vast majority of all the sounds in Chinese. Now here's where it gets really interesting. Some syllables don't even have an initial. They're just a final, all by themselves. But when these standalone syllables get written down, there's a special little spelling rule you've got to know. So here's how that rule works. If a standalone final starts with an I sound, you just pop a Y at the beginning when you write it. If it starts with a U sound, you add a W. So this is a huge insight. Y and W in Pinyin aren't actually consonant sounds themselves. Think of them more like spelling markers that tell your brain the syllable starts with an I or U sound.
So let's just quickly recap the big ideas here. Pinyin isn't some random, chaotic mess. It's a logical system with 3 predictable parts. Once you understand how those 21 initials, 36 finals, and 4 tones all work together, you've pretty much cracked the code for the entire sound system of Mandarin.
You see, Pinyin really is the key. Now that you understand the system, the whole puzzle of Chinese pronunciation isn't a mystery anymore. You have the foundation. So the only question left is, what are you gonna unlock with it?